On today's Minute of the Apes, Todd has already done his minute while we weren't recording.
They greenlit the sequel without a story in mind. They just wanted to equal an unexpected gold mine. He said, oh no, as Heston said, I got to go. These are just some of the facts you ought to know as we go. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.
Hello and welcome to Minute of the Apes, the daily podcast where we break down every minute of the Planet of the Apes movies. I'm Todd, and I actually have saved my best for the last, even though you think I was
You were trying
spewing it
to
out.
give us a whole lot of stuff and not recording.
Look, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to lay the gauntlet down.
All right.
I'm going to lay my infinity gauntlet down right here. This is a nothing happens minute that pisses me off more than anything as I watch it.
I completely disagree.
And it's
Well,
not.
hang on.
It's not because of the story. It's because of the staging and the direction of the scene. I watched it. So Sean told me early on there were things that some of your most hated film things, and it's the end where it was at the end of Planet of the Apes where they kind of. What do you think? Well, I think this. And those...
where they kind of play the pronoun game where they say, what are they going to find over there? Destiny. What do you mean destiny? Just tell me what they're going to find.
So we're going to get into this. It's much like how I hate that explosions in film are shown 17 times when it's one explosion. This is the same thing I hate. With that gauntlet on the table.
All right.
Go, Richard.
Well, hang on.
That's right. We're going to go, Sean.
Why have you played the minute?
Wait, no, we're going to start.
We haven't gotten there.
Okay.
I've just been so impassioned.
I know. All right.
Sean, tell us what happened.
We're going to start minute 42 with Gorilla still searching for Brent Nova and ends with Brent clearing away dirt from a sign.
Let's listen to this absolutely stunning, riveting moment from Beneath the Planet of the Apes.
All right, as of minute 42, we've still got 3 living humans, 4 dead humans, 1 dead ape, a shootness of apes, and a gaggle of humans. Before we get into the cave, this is what we were talking about earlier. I think the gorilla got really lazy because they kind of look down, see a cave, and go, surely nobody's there. Let's go look somewhere else.
Or his mommy tells him, don't you dare go into the caves.
No strange caves.
Strange humans might be in there.
So we finished the last minute with Brent and Nova climbing under kind of a dead tree down into a darkened cave, and the gorillas pass by the same enclosure. The lead gorilla with the rifle kind of also peers down. It's right when it ends, and this one begins with him kind of deciding there's nothing there and him directing the other gorillas to go back, go on ahead past this moment.
First off, this is a great location. I think this is a very cool location with this whole kind of weird cryptic-looking tree in the midst of this cliffy area. It's a very cool idea.
Their cave that they go into is very dark. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's pitch black from outside, but it has an unmotivated light source from inside to light it up.
Well,
that is true.
Well, I kind of feel bad for the audience that just listened to the clip because the music chase scene just stopped. Like this is almost almost like an entire silent moment, except for some dripping, which is very quiet, but you can hear it if you listen for it.
Okay, so speaking of that, I love silent moments in film. I love it when you're going to tell me visually, and I think that they have a moment in what's coming here that could have been massively strong.
But they cut the music. I mean, they knew.
But I think that's essential. You think you have to cut the music here,
right? Well, and that's what I think made this scene a little more powerful. Is they just cut this music out.
I'm on board with you, Richard, as to what I think is in the scene. If I play out the movie in my mind, it's a great scene. the way it's staged, in fact, I'm just going to say this, and we'll get into breaking this down. Here's what drives me absolutely bonker shit insane. And I'm not bleeping that because as I came out with bonker shit, I was like, that is genius.
There you go.
Bonker shit.
So it drives me nuts. They come down a set of stairs. I'm fine that he doesn't notice that it's, these are nicely crafted stairs that I've not seen here on the planet.
And look at this tile work that's nice grouting.
So we begin there. There are things that he begins to see that he doesn't react correctly. He sees the tile and he does look at it. What if he looked at the tile and he looked out? If you look at the wide shot we get, the next thing he would see would be the subway tunnel.
Yeah.
Okay, so
all the girders, all those things, but instead he plays as though he doesn't see the elephant in the room, and he runs over to rub on
wall.
the phone.
Okay, yeah.
It's poorly staged, and the reason they do that is it's small escalation. I go from tile, is that a phone? Then build your set accordingly.
Well, all right, so let's play into this for a little bit. They walk down deeper into this cave. They come across the tile that is behind them. The tile is something unique we haven't seen yet on the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
He turns the tile.
It stands out distinctly.
He actually wipes his hands across the tile with a little tactile feel as if he doesn't believe that it's there. We're getting some sunlight coming through grating, and the script specifically says slivers of gray daylight filter through upper gratings. And
this that may be the best lighting in any of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Which means you should have seen
point.
light in the black of the cave instead of just being a black hole. Because if there's light in the cave, you're not going into a black hole.
That's true. That is a good point.
But we're getting light coming from to their right through some type of grating that's casting this shadow along the wall. And I guess what my defense of this moment, if I had to, is that we have to assume that maybe the rest of the cave is a little bit darker and his eyes are slowly acclimating to what he can see.
Okay.
So maybe he can't turn around right away and go, oh, I see what that is.
But if that's the story you want to tell me, you have to have a moment of him rubbing his eyes
or something,
and then the camera becomes his point of view where it's blurry and like
the light
it's stopped down and it's starting to come back into him. Richard, I would buy that. That is a very feasible explanation if they'd tell me that story.
I mean, you can't see it here. He touches the rock beside it, and you have this moment where he kind of looks left and then looks right. And he does have a sense that he may not be able to fully see the stuff in front of him. So right, he hasn't walked down onto the platform yet.
What Richard is showing is a shot with Franciscus in the middle, hand upon the molten rock. Right. When you said this, Nova's standing next to him. I don't know why, but I was looking. I was like, I thought you were going to say he puts his hand on Nova. I don't know why I couldn't help it, but Nova's following right behind. But again, these are the textured type lighting things that I've been asking for through all the films so far.
It's flat lighting.
It's beautifully lit. It's simply a wood cookie above with some light pushing through it, but it's very nicely done.
So the script says, slivers of gray daylight filter through upper gratings dimly to illuminate corroded tracks between damp, glistening platforms, cracked and fissured with age. Somewhere we hear the drip, drip, drip of water on stone. Brent at first is too stunned to speak. He can only stare about him, unable to adjust to the shock of the indoubtable truth. He then begins to walk towards the hypnotic drip, 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 which loudens as he nears the sound source.
So they don't mention the fact he goes over and wipes away a telephone sign thing?
And that may have been Franciscus's moment that he figured out on his own, or they figured out on set.
I really wanted him
drip, drip, drip is very near. Stalactite hanging from the roof. It drips down past.
Well, they really called for that. And
it drips down past. No, the whole scene with the telephone was not in the script. So he's kind of adjusting. He looks left, looked right. He then kind of walks over to screen left. And we see something that we recognize immediately.
Which I wonder how many kids today, if they watch it, would recognize that as a payphone or not.
It's funny you say that because we watched something not long ago with my daughter, and I had to stop down and go, okay, that's called a payphone. You used to have to stop and put money in it to call someone. So I think
you would do the collect call, and you say, "What is your name? Hey, Dad, I need you to pick me up at the train station. Bye."
Yeah.
Well, I don't accept the charge.
Well, it's not even just any payphone. It's a rotary phone.
Right.
The phone is off the hook. We see the rotary dials.
I wanted him to reach in and try to see if there was a quarter in there and a change.
Did too. I kept thinking,
did you really?
Is there a little bit in there?
It's completely kind of encrusted in dust. He kind of stares at it. Then he sees the top where we see Elf.
Alpha.
the first part of the telephone, and then he begins to kind of frantically wipe it away, revealing a few more of the letters, but not really fully revealing telephone.
The Ella should be enough for him to go, wait, that's English.
Yeah.
But I like this moment. I want to say that. I like this almost frantic rubbing away because he knows what it is. He can see it. If any of us went to an alternate future where the Earth has been melted and we found a payphone, we would know
that we were either on a planet that had very similar things to what we have now, or we're somehow on the same planet
Right.
that we left.
So it kind of ends with him rubbing the part of the dust off the telephone, right? This is how this minute ends. I will say this. This is what I liked about this minute, and to a certain extent, the next minute of Discovery. Between the first movie and this movie, this is the first time outside of the Statue of Liberty we've seen something to ground us that this was
Earth.
And I think the audience deserves that longing moment, that very long kind of drag discovery of what is around them and what became of them.
Yeah, but we've already know this is Earth. So this is just a new discovery for Brent, but for the audience, it's not new information.
Yeah, but I would still want to take that time. I still would want to see the small pieces of technology, the tile, the grating, the phone. I would still want to see those things and have just kind of a feast of this fantasy of what happened to us.
If you had another scene in Return of the Jedi with Darth Vader going, "No, I am your father, really." I mean, you've already given us that information. You don't need to give it to us again.
So, as the judge and jury over your arguments both, I think you're both right. I actually think...
That's not how it works. Only one person can win.
In Minute of the Apes, it is. So, I totally agree with you, Richard. I think that what I think is very cool is that we're finally seeing Earth. We're seeing humanity and what we did to ourselves. I think Sean's right because I already know. If anything, this should have been Brent at the very start of the movie. He should have maybe crash landed in a place where it was like, what the? And then you've got that again, using the term, but the elephant in the room out of the way. And now we've prolonged this into the 42nd minute of the film to get to the payoff, which we got at the end of the last one. That's why this story has zero momentum. I go back to what I complained about, the filmmaking in this. You could even do where he comes in and he's so overwhelmed and we do quick cuts between his face looking to the left and then it's a shot of the subway looking to the right. It's the tiles looking down. It's the water, whatever. It's tracks. And then he goes to the telephone. There are just so many ways to do this, but it comes off as a cheap soap opera moment.
It's just 48-second shot.
Where he walks down to that phone, and it's so badly done.
Oh, I just disagree. I really, really like this moment, this discovery of what happened to us and the small details. I mean, I would be doing that. I'd be looking at the small details.
I agree with you. I like the small details. I love the dripping of the water. The dripping of the water goes back to the Hitchcock thing of the smallest things can add tension, and it does add a ton of tension to the moment.
Yeah.
It's just... I don't know.
Yeah.
But, so,
it's lazily constructed is my problem. I look across at both of you waiting for another point.
That's it for me.
I mean, I can move this into the next minute as well.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Tuesday's done. Bye. All right. That's Tuesday. Go check us out on MinateOfTheApes.com. Look for us on Twitter, Minute of the Apes. Also, you can find everything that we do socially on our website. You can interact with us through Twitter and let us know what you think. But biggest of all, go look for us on your favorite podcasting device. And please, leave us a review, hopefully around 5 stars. Let people know what you think because that does help other people find us. So, Tuesday, bye-bye. I'm Todd for Richard and Sean. See ya.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.